Dianne Frederick, and I'm 66, and in 2 weeks I'll be 67.
All right. Woo.
Clementine Williams, I'm 81 years old.
Oh, wow.
Just can't wait. Paula Fairconnetue, and I'm 68. I'll be 69 December.
All right now. Okay, well, I'm Rachel Dangermond, and I'm 63.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah. I'm the baby of the
You're the baby of the
table.
group.
Yeah.
I lived to get old enough to come to the 100 Men Hall.
I know, I know. Well, talk about your dad. Now, who's your dad?
My dad is Douglas Williams.
Right. So,
He was born and raised here in Bay St. Louis. He was one of 6. He had 2 sisters and 3 brothers. Well, he was really one of 7, and he was the baby. Daddy was born in 1922,
okay.
and he went to St. Rose, finished high school at St. Rose, went to the service. My dad came home. I was born in 41, and he came home from the service. Out of the service because I was born while he was in the service. He came home in 1944.
Okay.
And then he went to work on the railroad, as a lot of them did. And after the railroad, he started working for a guy named Sam Whitfield in Portwood. And got him a truck and did Portwood work. Had several guys working for him, including his brother.
Okay.
And then in 1969, I think it was Mayor Scafidi approached him to ask him if he would work as a policeman. Well, my dad was doing great in Portwood.
Right.
I mean, we were being educated at St. Rose, and not that it was that much money at that time to pay,
Right.
but we went to St. Rose, and he was doing good. But I'm going to tell you one thing he said. I'm going to take this job, and I'm going to do it at night, because I don't want it said we offered them the job, and they, talking about black men, wouldn't take it.
Right.
So he and Mr. Tate, his name is William Tate, he and Dad were the 2, policemen at the time. And I know in 1972, Douglas, which is my dad, was made assistant chief of police under a guy named Bill Carbonette. And then in 1976, under Mayor Carver, he became, I think it was Carver, it might have been Larry Bennett, but he became chief of police.
Yeah. What's the most memorable event you saw here at the Hall? Like a musician or dance or just a music
I'm trying
experience?
to think who was here. Aaron Neville.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Though, I mean, he wasn't big and popular then. He came with
Sure.
the Meters, I think.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
it was the group. They were called Meters at that time.
When I first moved here, it was really, it was a nice place, Bay St. Louis. It still is, but I'm saying because we were, the black community mostly, we danced together, we went to church together, we were friends. We didn't really go outside of the community. It was just us together, and it was a close-knit group of people.
Yeah.
We didn't have that much to do.
No.
And we thought that was the best thing since
Yeah,
going.
let's go spy on the parents and see what they're doing.
Because they're having fun, right?
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
I'm just thinking that, don't you think, Diane, that they have so many other
I
outside
think
things?
Activity.
Far as parties and get-together, cell phones, for me,
Yeah.
took a lot out of the fun.
Yeah.
Because if I look at Miss Teeny as an educator, and she want to have a beer or a cocktail or whatever, and somebody's with their cell
I'm going to take a
phone,
picture of that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a tarnish to her
Right.
reputation.
Yes.
And she just having a great time with
Right.
adults.
Right, yes, right.
So it made the older ones who have that stable job step back.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the music changed
right,
from the groove to mostly rap.
yeah, right.
And I view rap as I can cuss myself out for free. If I buy the music, that's the way I feel. And I DJ for almost 30 years, and that's what sent me home.
Huh,
The music changed.
yeah, sure did.
The people my age stopped coming out, so I felt like I was playing for the younger generation, which some of them were my children's age.
Right.
So I didn't fit in with that group.
Yeah, I hear you. Your father-in-law was the head of the NAACP? Okay. And was that the first
That was the
iteration
first.
of it?
It's the
Okay.
original.
Yes, because I still have the original charter,
Okay.
because we did everything in this hall,
Uh-huh. Wow.
and we didn't have one in the 70s. And Thomas Favre,
Uh-huh.
we need to have an NAACP chapter here. So, and it was so funny, it was so easy to get. We needed 50 members,
Uh-huh.
and we went to every bar in Bay St. Louis and got 50 members. We asked for $10 and got it.
Oh, wow. So, tell me about when you were young and starting to date and go to dances and things like that, and you come here for anything. Tell me.
First of all, my experience with the 100-Man Hall was I wasn't old enough to come in,
Okay.
but we could stay outside
Right, exactly.
because we had a station wagon.
Right, exactly. And they would just give you the chips and the drinks and keep you in the car.
Exactly.
Oh, you too?
By teenage years, they had dances here, like Miss Paula was saying, teenage parties. And then my dad also had a teenage place and a bar just across the railroad
The
track.
ice house?
The ice house.
Yeah, right.
So it was kind of short-lived
Uh-huh.
for me. And then I married very young and I left.
Okay.
I went to all-black school.
Okay.
I only went a half a year at the junior high.
Okay.
So all of my life was Valina C. Jones,
Uh-huh.
and then another Valina C. Jones in Louisiana, and then Clark.
Okay.
So I stayed in an all-black
So
school.
you were,
Oh,
yeah, right. And that makes a big difference.
So yes, yes.
Well, I tell you, when the year that we first went to Bay High, and that was, I went to Bay High my 10th, 11th, 12th grade. It was 70, I graduated in 72.
Uh-huh.
So 1969 was my last year at Valina C. Jones.
That's when it closed.
That's when it closed.
So you went from an all-black school into
To,
an integrated school.
to an integrated school.
Uh-huh.
Now, my first year, we had the guys all had the biggest fight on campus.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was really
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, y'all
The,
could
the
get.
parents were
Yeah.
coming to get their kids from school.
Uh-huh.
It was not easy for us.
But that was the first year of integration
That was the
in
f-
all of the schools,
Yeah.
right?
Right. But I know, I'm going to tell
Well,
you,
what year was
I
that?
think Mississippi was one of the states that really tried their best
Not to.
not to.
Yeah,
Not
sure,
to.
sure.
It was to the point where this is it.
They-
You
they
have
made them.
to, they
Yeah.
made them. You have to integrate.
Right.
And so that first year at Bay High for me, it was like, going into the unknown.
Warfare. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, right.
And the kids looked at you because we weren't used to being around each other.
Sure,
They
yeah.
had been, one young lady told me, we were in PE class, and whenever we'd come around, she just run. And I was, why are you always running from
Yeah.
us? She said, well, my mom told me that y'all steal and y'all carry knives.
Oh.
I said, well, honey,
Oh, it was bad.
it was
Yeah.
it was
It was
It was
bad.
pretty
Please
bad.
begin.
Because I know
It was pretty bad. But
And you were teaching there, so
Yes.
that's, so you were teaching when it
I
became
was
integrated.
teaching. No, I was teaching. Because I was there with Paula when Paula was there, but I left in '68, the year before they closed it.
Okay.
Because the reason I left, and the superintendent came to the school, and he told the teachers, next year, the majority of you will not have a job. And so that was all black teachers, of course, at Galena C. Jones.
Okay.
And he pointed, you. He was talking to Coach Bradley, Mr. and Mrs. James, and Clementine Williams. You would have your jobs, but the rest of you will have to find jobs somewhere else.
Wow.
Now that was about 15 to 20 people.
Wow.
So I stood up in a meeting, big mouth.
Uh-huh.
I said, Mr. McCullough, I don't want your job. I said, if you cannot hire and keep my friends, I'm not going to work for you. And so that afternoon I was still living at home, and he came to my dad and told him what I had said. And so my dad's word was, he calls us, and it was it's ugly sounding, but he turned to me and he said, Horse, did you say that? I said, yes, I did. I said, all of my friends are losing their jobs. They're being displaced, as it was called. And I said, I don't want to work in that situation. So my dad said, Miss McCullough, it's her choice. She doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to. So Mr. McCullough left, and Daddy said, now, Horse, what you gonna do? He said, you're not gonna sit here on top of me without a job. I said, well, we'll find a job, Daddy. And I did. I found one over in Moss Point. I went on to Moss Point and worked, because I had been at Galena C. Jones for about 5 years.
Was Moss
And-
Point mostly black?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at that time, because they put me in Nescatava. And I had, my first year at Escataba, I had 22 whites and 5 blacks in my class. But of course, the principal put a white teacher in there with me. I mean, I needed help, So, anyway, I mean, I spent 6 or 7 years in Moss Point, and then I came back to the coast, came back to Pasquistane.
It was a strenuous situation, when you're pushed together, you're not being around each other. Each side has been told stories about from
The other.
from parents. You know
Yeah,
how they say you
absolutely.
leave children alone and let
Yeah,
them
right, they're
get to.
fine, exactly, right.
But when you come together with preconceived ideas of who the other person is,
Right.
That's right.
then it's hard to
Yeah, right.
to come together as human beings even. But I'll tell you, not everybody was like that.
Right.
I always felt, as long as we stayed in our place, everything was wonderful. And our place was back of town. We had a whole community back there. We loved each other. We took care of each other. When Bay St. Louis was open up to the public, they didn't want it. I mean, open up to blacks.
Yeah.
They didn't want it.
Right.
I'm telling you. The last year of, not the last year, but in around 66, at the end of the school year, we went to the Frost Top. We couldn't get in. Oh, y'all have to go around. And we did it on purpose because they had signed the Civil Rights Bill, so we figured, we can go anywhere. Went to the Frost Top, we couldn't get in. Then we went to the little place, they had a place, what's the name of the place? Murphy's?
Murphy's, yeah, Murphy's.
Wasn't it a little-
Murphy's was on Highway 90.
Highway 90. Oh, y'all gotta go by the window. I said, well, I thought everything was open up to everybody. And at Frost Top, they had a sign saying no dogs allowed. So when they told us that, I said, well, we must be little puppy dogs or something, because we're not allowed in the building. Well, when we went back to school, because this was at lunchtime, went back to the school, the principal had gotten word that we had been
Up to
up to the Frost Top and up to the Murphy's. And there was about 5 of us. And the principal said, Mr. McCullough, the superintendent, he was Mr. McCullough at the time. He's called and said, that these teachers were doing this, and this. And I said, yes, sir, we were. don't y'all do that anymore. Y'all get everybody in trouble. Okay.
It was a little hamburger stand.
Little hamburger
where,
stand.
where kids
Well, they
hung
had
out.
black and white side.
And this was Murphy's or?
They didn't have a black
or
and
the-
white side
or the-
at Frost Town.
At Frost Stop did not. It was the hamburger joint where you get shakes, hamburgers,
Right,
hang
sure.
out, you
Uh-huh.
could go in and eat.
Rachel, the only experience, I hate to say if it was bad, that I had with Bay High, I never went, but was that when I came back in '74, I had just came out the 11th grade in Louisiana. And I wanted to finish my last year at Bay High.
Right.
Well, because I was married, the superintendent told me I could not enroll. So that's how Teeny came into my life.
Okay.
She got about 4 of us who were married or had kids.
Uh-huh.
And she organized something at the library, the county library here in Bay St.
Oh,
Louis.
nice.
And then we were able to get our GED. But like I say, that's the only bad experience I had.
Uh-huh.
And they said it was because I was classified as a legal adult. Even when my kids was at Bay High, I missed the camaraderie that we had in a black school. I remember going to a game and we were so used to cheering and
Yeah.
hey,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
44,
Yeah.
got my eyes on you.
Yeah.
But most of all, you can play football, basketball, whatever.
Right.
Howdy, 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 ho.
Right.
So we're in the stand singing these cheers at Bay High.
Yeah.
And we were like, you know, it was
It's a
almost like
cultural
being
thing.
Yeah.
at a tennis match or a golf tournament where
Everybody's
you
so
don't
quiet.
quiet.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, a lot of black kids don't care for a lot of sports. We had, I mean, it was awesome, you know, in my coming up, being in an all black school.
Yeah.
And I think the kids back then, most of them, I don't know many dropouts.
They had more pride.
Yes, coming through an all black school.
Yeah.
So not saying, you know, anything's wrong with integration,
Uh-huh.
but I think it just took something out of
Sure.
them,
Yeah.
out of their upbringing,
Yeah.
their tones, the way we talk.
Sure.
People can take that sometimes because we loud,
Yeah. Right.
aggressive,
Yeah. Right.
but that's just us.
Right. Yeah.
That's just the way we were raised.
Sure. Yeah.
Plus, if Miss Teeny or my aunts up the street, whomever,
Uh-huh.
they had the rights to chastise us as well as our parents.
Right.
Now going into an integrated school made it a little bit different.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm good. I got you.
Yeah.
So the children now are just not going to allow it.
Right. Yeah.
They just not. And I think laws took some of that out when they implemented different laws for this, that, but now I see where the children are, then we start losing it.
We want to be more with our culture. You know, the people we're comfortable with. You know, we could go up on the beach as much as we want, I think. And, you know, I don't even go up there.
Yeah.
But it's not because I can't.
Right. Right.
But I feel more comfortable
Right.
with my own,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
So I'm just not going to, you know, I may go, even if we had black clubs, I may go in a black club by myself. I'm certainly not going up there by myself. I
Right.
want Dianne, you know.
Somebody going
come
with
on.
me.
I'm not going, you know, not
Right.
that anyone's going to harm me or
Right.
anything.
Yes. No, I hear you.
But I want someone I feel comfortable
Right.
with.
Sure. Uh-huh.
And we feel comfortable with each other.
Right.
And I'm telling you, Rachel, the majority of black people in our community, we gonna stay in our area where we live.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
Now, I might go to Paula's house and play cards.
Right.
And I might have a white friend, but I'm not playing cards with her. But I'm not that close with her. I mean, I
Right.
have an acquaintance.
Yeah.
Right.
We are more acquaintances
Right.
with our white counterparts.
Sure. Right.
And we get along with them.
Right.
You know, we got people at St. Rose.
You know, staying in your own community, staying comfortable, that's good, but how do you sort of
Venture out.
venture out, get some resources, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
or just have some ties to those resources,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So,
Well, you know, if I was a businesswoman, I would be out there.
yeah.
I mean, me, that's my
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to go where this money is, and I'm
Right,
going to go,
exactly.
you know.
Right.
So, unfortunately, we don't have that many.
Business.
Yeah, and I think that
businesses.
that's a quality of, like you said, they go to college and they leave.
Mhm.
They
That's
don't come
what's
back
happening.
here and look for an entrepreneurship or,
Right.
you know, or something.
But when
opening
my
with-
sister, younger sister first finished, there was a job opening as a controller in the city of Bay St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
And she had gotten her MBA,
Mm-hmm.
and she was denied immediately. So that's when she left and went to Louisiana
Yeah.
to work for Amico Oil. That's when Donna first started working.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They didn't even, I don't think they even looked at it.
Mm-hmm. As smart
And
as
she had
she
an
is.
MBA,
Yeah.
so she could easily have done the job.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
But anyway, those things happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know, and Noella came out as a lawyer, and Gilbert was he went to Hancock Bank to get work
Right.
because he was in banking and business. He was business major too.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. They just wasn't there. It wasn't for them.
Right.
I mean, so they had to leave to
Right.
go find work.
There's also this sort of hotbed of artisans and artists that have come out of this, you know, like your uncle. You know, James Booker learned to play piano here. You know, Ellsworth Collins, you know, Papa Joe. You know, these were creative people.
Right.
So what was it about this area
I
that
don't
kind of
know.
bred
Now-
that,
right.
you know?
I remember Booker when I was a little girl. I
Yeah.
used to see him walking around with that patch over his eye. He
Yeah.
played. He
I was in
played
school
St.
with him.
Rose.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
he played at St. Rose.
Yeah. I
And
remember
organ.
him.
He was our organist.
Organist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure was, and he was just another person walking
Yeah,
around.
walking around
I
because he was
know.
in.
Even down to mechanics.
Uh-huh, right.
Mr. Drummond.
Yeah.
I mean, the only black-owned
Business.
business under mechanics.
Right.
Now, they had several other shade tree mechanics that were awesome,
Shade
but
tree
he had a business. I mean,
Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah, Moon was one of those shade tree mechanics.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yes, and he was good.
And Champ.
But Champ was the head of business.
He had a
He
business.
actually
Yeah.
had his business. That's right.
Yeah.
But what could you imagine or envision would be the next 100 years here? I mean, what would feel right?
Well, you know, I like, and I'm gonna tell you, I went to this place in Biloxi that reminded me so much of the hall when we were young.
Okay, what was it?
And I know you have you have blues all
Yeah,
the time
uh-huh.
too, and you have the bands and
Uh-huh,
stuff. It was just the interior decoration. They had all the old, and I see you have too, some of the
Uh-huh.
old posters, Etta James,
Uh-huh.
Leah Milton, guitars hanging on the wall.
Was it Ground Zero? The Ground Zero? Yeah. uh-huh.
It was really
What
nice,
was
and it
that?
reminded
Ground
me of this.
Zero.
It reminded me of this place.
Uh-huh. But we're the real thing.
And you
Paula.
are, I know you are. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you're doing
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
that.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm not going to be doing it forever. You know what I mean? It's
I
like,
just don't, I don't know what would bring it back.
yeah,
Because that was just a special time.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it had a special purpose.
For a special
Right.
purpose,
Right.
you see. And
Right.
that's not relevant today to,
Right,
to
yeah.
young people.
Right. Sure.
And even to the old ones,
Sure.
we out now.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right.
the young ones coming up, it's
Yeah.
not relevant to them.
Right, yeah, I hear you.
You know,
Yeah.
Paula's children, this girl, Diane's children, they're not thinking about this home.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
right.
they have other lives, they're doing other things.
Right,
And I don't know how we could bring them back.
right,
See, they live out of town, and most of Diane's are here, but
Right.
still, this hall means nothing to them.
Yeah.
It was relevant to us
right, sir.
because
But-
it went out before they even were grown.
Right.
So they don't know.
And
the
I
importance of
agree
it.
with you, however,
They
I
don't
did
believe-
see when Lonnie brought the Carrero people in here, and there was that moment where I looked across the whole dance floor.
And they
I
were
thought,
having a good time.
They were having a good time, and I wanted to like get the microphone and say, your mom and dad, your grandparents were partying here just like you're doing. I mean, you gotta feel that.
Maybe if, maybe if we had more of that, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Right.
Yeah.
like if the crew would have more dances
Yeah,
here, that
and I
young
tell you,
crew,
they're doing some more
that young
parties
crew,
here.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly, because
And
they're
that
the
might
age,
bring
they're the
them-
age.
Right.
they're the age.
We're not
Yeah.
that age.
Right.
They're the age.
They
Yeah.
are the age. If
Yeah.
they could, if we could bring more of them, you know,
Right.
that age group,
Sure, yeah.
and maybe Lonnie with the crew.
Yeah, he is, and Lonnie's been really. Sandra helped make that connection with Lonnie and me, and that's been a very good connection.
Good,
You know,
good.
Lonnie has done. They did their Mardi Gras ball here. They did a white party. They're doing a black party in October.
Well, that's good.
So they're
That's-
doing stuff here,
so-
and when they come in, you can see it already. They're all starting to get comfortable here.
Great.
Well, that's good.
That's
That's
wonderful.
good.
Yeah.
That's
That's good.
wonderful.
So, because that's who's gonna save it.
Right,
That
exactly.
young-
Right.
that age group.
Yeah.